Howdy y'all! I'm Michael, and this is my amazing girlfriend Gabby.
Hi everybody!
We saw the video that JD Stucks had made with his now fiance Shelby, where she asked questions about the model railroad hobby. And we both enjoyed watching that video and wanted to do the same. And Gabby also really wanted to put out in the world that there's a lot of other train relationships out there. So we took some questions straight from that video and then wrote some ourselves. As we got ready to film this video, I asked Gabby which train she wanted to have running, and as you'll see, it's my Fleischmann VR50 with the cab tender and then some passenger cars behind it.
First off, it has very nice bright red color going on, so I think it's really beautiful visually. And I also think it looks a lot like the Hogwarts Express. That's why I picked it. I think it looks fun and colorful and has nice texture that your eye is drawn to when it moves, and it has a light in front and a light in the back. The first question that was asked in the video was, how did you two meet?
We met as exchange students in the UK. We're both from Canada, from opposite ends of Canada, and we both chose to go to Leeds in the United Kingdom, Leeds Mug. And we were both studying politics. I was Gabby's orientation leader the first day. Turns out we were in a class together. We got a group project together.
It was about blasphemy, I think.
Yes, it was about religious blasphemy as a political tool in Southeast Asia. So when did model trains come up in our conversations?
I feel like it was pretty early on, just because the nature of our relationship and the fact that we have to do long distance has made it so we call each other all the time, and we text all the time because we want to be involved in each other's life. And model trains is a hobby that Michael already enjoyed with his father. And his father has an immense layout in his basement, and it was a very huge part of his childhood. Yeah. And that's something that they shared together and that Michael would tell me about on our phone calls. And I thought it was very sweet that he would spend so much time with his father and that they could share something together. And so that's how I learned about it.
A few months after that, Gabby had asked me, were trains always such a big part in your life? Because I feel like you're talking about it more. And it was just no, Gabby, you just made me feel super safe and excited and wanting to share more about it.
Yeah.
So it made me want to open up more and more. Then we did hobby times together on the phone. I just found more and more ways to express myself through trains. So Gabby, what do you think of the model railroad hobby in general?
I think it's a very wholesome community, and I've seen other YouTubers, and I always find that the content that they put out is really appeasing and sweet and wholesome, so I always enjoy having one of these videos in the background, even if I'm not myself involved in the hobby. And I love to see how other YouTubers involve their loved ones in their hobbies. There's always something about a partner or a cat or
yeah. I remember we were watching Charlie from Chadwick Model Railroads when he mentioned his wife. Gabby was can we listen to that part again?
Yes, and I find that model railroading is such a versatile hobby, and there's so many different ways to enjoy it. If you like trains, you can go train spotting. We've been train spotting a few times. You can go to a museum to learn more about trains and see them and imagine how they would work in real life. You can learn the history about when the locomotives were running, or when certain passenger cars or freight cars were existing. One thing I love that is another part of the hobby is, of course, the customization and painting of the trains and the freight cars. Michael does a lot of customization and painting on his model trains. I do notice the time and effort that he puts in modifying them, and he's also tried to introduce me to painting minis
And like, Gabby has a great like artistic eye, like aesthetic. I feel like with makeup, you know how like how different things come together, and you have a love for like small, tiny things. It's like miniature hobbies combine a whole lot of that. We painted her first Warhammer figure, which is a little squig from the Kill Team set. I love like finding little ways like this to, you know what I'm doing in my hobby, and now here's a way for you to explore it in your own way.
Absolutely, and I love how interactive it is, because it's not just train spotting, it's going on a road trip together.
Yeah.
And it's not just painting, it's watching YouTube videos, commenting on the colors, and spending that quality time together. It's so much more.
How has being introduced to model railroading affected your understanding of me?
As I said, I think it showcased how much you care about your family, how much you care about your dad, and spending actual quality time with him. It showed me how patient you are and meticulous, handling all of these little tiny parts that very often don't want to work the way that they're supposed to work. Trying to find how to resolve issues online, but you're always able to fix it. The proof is this train is running right now. And I feel like I've always been someone who's very clumsy and afraid to handle delicate things. But Michael has always been very encouraging in the term that he always says, if something does break, then we'll just sit down and fix it together.
Gabby, how would you feel if I had train stuff all over the house?
I don't think I would mind, actually. I think what I would try to do is integrate the train stuff into the decor.
Into the decor, yeah.
So it's not just a box laying there and it's underappreciated and it looks out of place, but if you actually put in the effort and the time to give it a proper place within the space and that it looks intentional, then I think it can be very
aesthetic.
Yeah, it can be totally aesthetic.
And I agree, it's like I also wouldn't want to just have train stuff all over in the way that I just left it there. It's model train stuff in like the hobby room or like wherever I end up having permanent display, but still like having other appropriate train stuff elsewhere, like train books probably displayed on the bookcase, train magnets on the fridge, like train shirts in the closet, having it be represented without being overwhelming, out of place.
Yeah, and I really love decorating, and I do look forward to having space that reflects both of our tastes and personalities, and that when people come into our homes, they're like, oh yeah, this is Gabby and Michael's place.
So I'm interested to see what more of like her hobbies we integrate into the decor. Welcome to Gabby's yoga and training kitchen.
Will I be allowed in your layout room? And will my 2 cats be allowed in your layout room?
Absolutely. You would be definitely allowed in our layout room, and our cats will definitely be allowed in there. And it's like I am concerned because I haven't had like pets before. But I have to like how this could look very enticing to a cat to like play with. But it's also just like, well, cats don't know. You had said that they're going to be very curious, but then they're going to learn, okay, not for them. They're going to lose interest. So just make sure that they have like a safe way to know it. If they are like, no, they just want to keep bashing it. Okay, well later on we'll wait to have like a separate room where the trains can go in. I don't want to be mad at the cats for being cats.
Wait for the cat and train updates.
Because I don't want it like a man cave. I don't want a separate space I retreat to because I feel like I'm missing something. I don't, like I said, I like sharing my hobby. I don't want to be sequestered.
And I feel like having the train maybe going out around the room could add so much life and make it so much more dynamic visually.
And I have my idea, like when I get a permanent layout, I know what I want to model. But I also want to have a section where this is Gabby's section, and whatever she wants to put on the layout, she can put there. So we can have like a little Halloween zombie scene, like a UFO crash site or something. We can have raccoons everywhere. Little bears.
Yes. How does Michael include me in his hobby? Well, I feel like we've talked about a couple ones already. So coming back to the road trip and train spotting, I feel like when Michael travels to see me in the East, we did traveling down south to the United States as well, he'll often try to pick some events or museums that he wants to visit, and it makes that activity that we can share together. For example, I've lived next to the Expo Rail all of my life.
So then we went, and I got the joy of being like her personal tour guide.
I can ask him any questions about anything, any number, any color of paint, any the types of seatings that are in the freight car. I can ask him anything and he will have a historically accurate answer to give, and I love learning all the fun facts.
Another way I've included Gabby was in a date night. She asked me to put together a guessing game of like a bunch of assorted pictures of different trains, and then she had to guess if it was a locomotive, freight car, passenger car, what decade it was from, where it was from, and if it's a freight car, what did it carry?
Michael has told me so much because I ask so many questions that I now have this backlog of train and history info in my head that I can then put together to answer train trivia.
We're going to beat all the other couples at train trivia night. Gabby, how have you helped build the layout? So technically, trick question because this is the state of my layout right now. We don't have a permanent layout. But Gabby has been very highly involved in it. When I told Gabby about my interest in the hobby and how important it was to my dad and myself, Gabby got me a very generous gift card to our favorite hobby store. And so one of the things I got was a building from Woodland Scenic. It was a name of like an inside joke that we enjoyed, and it was an Italian restaurant, which Gabby really enjoys. And it's like, I needed to have that, so I always have it on my little temporary setup.
And for the record, Michael says that this is the state of his layout. It's not. He has a bigger version. We just made it smaller for the purpose of being able to run it during this video. But he has made little custom hills, and his tracks are way bigger. It takes, we can pick up to the entire table, and many other buildings and fun stuff on his layout. It's much more elaborate.
And that reminds another big way that you contribute is that, like, how you hype me up when I build those temporary things. Because this is just me taking poster board from work and being like, well, it's gonna be junk anyway. I'll just turn it into prettier junk. So like, I'll turn it into a little building. And you're like, Michael, you were able to turn this into this, and I'm like, you're right, I did. And it makes me even more excited to like send progress pictures, and even when I'm not active on my Instagram, if I'm taking pictures of what I'm doing, it's because I want to share it with her.
Yeah, because like, wait, stay there, wait. So how does one turn this into this? Excuse me, look how cute! It's a little house, a little building.
I have some N-scale like crew figures that we had. Two of them I wanted to model to represent my beloved. So on one of them, my first steam engine that I have, I repainted one figure to represent me, and then I remodeled one other one to represent Gabby. So we're crewing the engine together. And when we're at Expo Rail, we took a picture of Gabby on a caboose, and so I took one of the figures and again modeled it to be Gabby. And so whenever I see the train go by, I always see little Gabby. So Gab, what do you tell others about my hobby?
I feel like that's one of the introductory things I say about you, because it's one of your main hobbies. So I think what I say is that you like painting minis, and amongst that universe that you like painting and customizing train. I think it's very interesting that you have an artistic and creative hobby that's so stimulating to you, and I think it makes you a more complete and interesting person. I feel like the last few times that I was either with my friends or colleagues or family and that there was a train going by, I've immediately picked up my phone and gave it to the closest person, like, you need to take a video, you need to take a picture of me with the train, and I need to send it to Michael. I have no idea what that train is, but he will know, and that's the important part.
So on that note, do you think about trains when you're not with me?
I do think a lot about trains, but just because I need to stay on top of finding trains, sending pictures of trains. And so when I hear a train in the distance, I think of you.
Oh, I've made trains your Roman Empire.
Yes.
So Gabby, I would definitely like to know, out of all the things in my collection, what are some of your most favorite and least favorite models that I have?
I guess my first favorite one would be, oh no, I'll have three favorites. I'm sorry. There are no rules. We're making these videos. We make the rules. Oh my god, and we can even move the door. That's amazing. So I guess my first favorite one would be the Chessie, because it has a cat on it. It's sweet. It has nice colors, and it's interesting visually, I'd say. Next one for my favorites is this colorful number from Southern Pacific. I really like the colors, and I know that it's one of Michael's favorites.
Oh.
I like it. I like it very much.
You said you had a third?
Yes, I have a third one.
What's your third one?
I like this one. Oops. I didn't know it.
Yeah, it's magnetized.
Yeah, oh, that's so
Because
clever.
I made it for the Shermans to go on, and since it was already magnetized for that, I could just put anything else I wanted onto it.
So my third favorite one is this one, because Michael made this. Like, this was nothing, and he just, one night, he just created this. And what I like is, so in the East, we are 2 hours later than in the West, where Michael lives. So when we call, I usually get tired before him and go to bed before him. So what he does is he'll film a little video of himself working on whatever he's working on, and he'll send it to me so that the next morning I can wake up and see what he's been up to. And I really, really enjoy watching these videos, and I remember you sending me a video of yourself while you were building these, and I really appreciated learning more about the process, and I don't know, I just find it fascinating to see you build things from scratch. It's really impressive.
Thank you, Mama.
The little videos definitely help me. Just hearing his voice, feeling like I'm in the room with him and he's crafting on his bench and I'm doing
We love
whatever.
parallel play. On the flip side, what are some of your least favorite models?
The ones that are less aesthetically pleasing, or what I would call least interesting visually, not that they're ugly, there's just less going on. This one, can you see it? It's fairly plain, other than the weathering that Michael has added to it.
Thank you, Milo.
It's just an empty guy, an empty vessel. I don't know what to say about this guy, and I think that makes him less interesting.
So I'd like to end off by asking, what are the ways that I show up for you in your hobbies?
Well, my main hobby for over a year and a half now has been yoga. I have a really strong practice established in my life. I do yoga every day in my studio back in Montreal. Shout out Sunrise Yoga. Every time I come home from my yoga class, and Michael always asks me how my class went, did I learn any new poses, what were my favorite parts, what were the most challenging parts, and then when I do learn new poses, I get to put the phone somewhere and try to pretzel my way back into what I was doing, and it always leads to some very funny things. When I come here, he always makes sure that I have a nice space in the living room where I can unroll my mat, do my hour-long yoga practice. He's provided me at Christmas with the gift of a yoga block and a yoga strap, and he always encourages me to find time in the day to do yoga because he knows how important it is to me and how good it makes me feel and how it contributes to my overall well-being. I love how he's able to encourage me to take that time instead of saying, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. No. Hi everybody! So as we were editing the video, we thought it'd be nice to give you kind of an update now that we've moved in together. We've been living together for a month now, and how we've kind of integrated both of our spaces together in a really functional and tangible way.
Yeah, so both of our hobbies have like room to breathe and like a nice sense of being home and not being pushed to the side or temporary. Front and center on the dining room table, we still have a layout, updated layout by the way, as we found that we more often than not just tend to eat in front of the TV. So we have our new updated media day room. Voila. And now as we eat or go about the day, the layout is now here for us to admire and to just have like a little train running. Like Gabby was saying, it has a nice sense of like ambiance, and I was very touched that when Gabby sent a update video to her family about our new, like how the apartment was, that she asked to have a train running as well. My bookcases have been upgraded, so now I have like my models along with like Gabby's old license plate, fairy lights, Lo-fi sound speaker, and books from both of our collections. I've now updated my display case to proudly display models from both of our collections, and on the end, by Gabby's desk, is the BR50 that she chose to be in the video, and I have since picked up the Quebec-themed box cart to have the train that represents my beloved. And right beneath that is another crown jewel of our collection. Absolutely love it when we come in, we see this collage of us.
It's been so fun sharing all of this with you guys, and we look forward to learning more about how you integrate your partner's hobbies and how you share your spaces together and integrate everything.
We'd love to hear your, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.